Good thing I checked, because my mic was muted. Should be locked in now. Good thing I checked, because my mic was muted. Locked in now. Here we go. Okay. Just about ready to go. I'm doing something wrong. Pretty sure we're at the trial now, right? Yeah. And I'm still playing as Edgeworth, so our top two suspects, if you ask me, gotta be Bikini. We know Iris didn't do it because she didn't have any Cyclops when she said she didn't kill anybody. Now, what if it's Pearl? Pearl, as like Mia took over her body and then she killed Pearl's mom. Because I think that Miss Donham might actually not be Misty Faye, like I was thinking initially, but instead it could be the mom from the case in the last game. Because we assumed she was in jail, but then we got Dahlia right here, so who's to say the mom didn't get out either, you know? Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not in any case. Whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Mr. Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donham, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed, don't worry, I made the necessary arrangements. Is he going to be dressed as Phoenix? I see. Iris, it's a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir, I leave my defense in your capable hands. I should put that one down here. Put this one up here. Here we go. So it is a Canadian judge, I was right. But who is the prosecutor going to be? Is it going to be Von Karma? I wonder if Von Karma will be able to tell. That'd be funny. Oh wait, Von Karma probably does know, and that's why Edgeworth picked her, because remember in the last one they said he handpicked the prosecutor. If Von Karma and him are cool, so they're going to work together. I think. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, this sin cannot be set for prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem that this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. In order to announce the verdict at this time, this court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Let's go. The prosecution stands ready. And you are Francisca Von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you said? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to legendary prosecutor Manfred Von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a Von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew into today. Or flew in today. I want to say into today, but it's in today. For the purposes of prosecuting this case. That last line she said, by the way, was a bar. You did? You must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There's no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure. I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip at all. I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip and drink 17 cups of coffee. Or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. I'm looking at you now. Maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my courtroom. The stage is set. Now continue with your proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case with as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Donham. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is a weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo into the crime scene. Crime photo of the courtyard where Elise Donham was murdered. Okay. Why do I feel like we already had that? I guess not. Yeah, I guess not. I've probably just seen it without seeing it, you know? We're not seeing the photo, we just kind of seen the image of her dying. There is no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there's a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. The first and last trial is the defense attorney. Let's go. That's hilarious. It's too short to see over a thing. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Okay. Witness, please stand up, nice and straight. She is. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. What do I mean? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. We would be appeared of wearing a bikini right now. The court is the garden of holy judgment. Those of lessery, I guess that's lessery, I would assume, in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. Okay, so I think she's talking about just being like perverted. You want me to leave? Let me get your bikinis in the twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in the summer. Fuck no. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about, I get it, because he's Canadian. Tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Yeah, where were you at? Now, will there be a contradiction in what she's saying? That's the thing I'm thinking about. Because you can't say that you saw a crime happen and then not be honest about your whereabouts, because then that makes it seem like you did it. I feel like right here we're going to figure out who actually did it. Come on, buddy. There you go. Pet my dog. Can I pet that dog? The night of the murder. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and return to the Hazakura Temple. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had vanished, just as I was heading back, or I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So it was simple coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple. Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed in the inner temple. It sounded like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. You're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Mr. Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Our Carmen just admitted there was a problem with her testimony. So she's literally helping. And I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... Okay, I forgot what the press button was. This is the inner temple. What is the inner temple? Well, conversing with spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? Good question. It is all quite exacting. You mean exciting? It can't exacting. Oh, okay. I think she's saying like she has to be perfect. It can't be performed without a nun supervisor, like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip, in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Glad you see my back likes to act up violently. Wonder if she has a doctor's note for that. Violently. That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in the winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. What? On the night of the murder, was the fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen, I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to the Hazakura Temple. You left Iris to help? With what? What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just... Wait a minute. She says a nun has to be present, but she left. Why would you leave if a nun had to be present? So her back was hurting. But how could Iris help if her back was hurting? Or if the nun wasn't there? Nun has to be there. I guess she's like her eyes without being her eyes. I don't know. I don't know. Something about that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe that's not the contradiction. Maybe I'm tripping. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Was it in your place to remain with the disciple? Yeah, exactly. The judge even catches on to what I'm talking about, but I guess he's going to explain that. Maybe I just missed out. Had to grab my dog. I don't know what was going on with him, but I just kind of repositioned the blanket on him. Well, the job is to simply watch over the acolytes so they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point, again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. Okay. So you returned to Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath. A bath is the way for everything. It is do or be done in kind of world after all. One second. You gotta reposition again. How long were you in bed for, if you don't mind me asking? Him asking that. You see the court record? I'm gonna have to add that to her testimony. (10 to 11 p.m. So I gotta figure out if we know when they met. That helps, you know. Hi, my mind. What a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? This is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? I was pathetic Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck in the defense's bench? Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand? So it was after I finished, when I was heading back, that's when I saw it. The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? We go from my room to the main hall. We have to take a windy hallway. A winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime take place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. But this certainly seems to be true. There's indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just what good this witness's memory and observation skills are. So, you know, it's possible she didn't even do it and she just, like, is confused. So what do we have that we can present, first off? That's what I need to look at. So it's not going to be any of these from what I can tell, right? Probably not that. Rain lights at 10 and was in her room until the murder was discovered is her testimony. Okay. What do I present that on? Because I feel like that's what it is. But she's saying that Iris is the one who did it. This one? So I left Iris to help with the acolyte and return to the Hatsukura temple? I think this is it. But I'm going to save because I'm not 100% sure. We nailed it. I thought it was going to be like, we press and we get it. I didn't even realize we had the testimony. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of the Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No, she said that? A defendant or witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant simply lied to cover her back. But that's completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. All people lie, that is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped here? That's not true. Edward definitely got hit. Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, we must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me and you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. What the fuck does the season got to do with it? You got like a power boost in the winter? I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edwards, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Please add your comments about Iris to this testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination. Then I was hoping to act like the training of the inner temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back acted violently. Iris came to the temple. Wait a minute. Iris came to the temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. How exactly is that? Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You young man need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Think I'm made a mistake. Well, we know Iris gave her a hood to Phoenix because he had it, and then now Edgeworth has it right here. And she was wearing that when we met her, but she took it off when Phoenix showed up. And I don't think she has any spare ones. An excellent finish there on this. Still, I have to wonder. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure the last two statements are the same. We gotta present the hood, I think. I should save again. Let's go. Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon warning hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Montkarma? I have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? The witness had seen the defendant as she claimed. Or if she had seen the witness, then she would have saw her, or she should have. Okay, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Ooh, so who else could have been there dressed like this? Only them two, right? It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order, whoa! Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see a stockpile surplus of hoods, eh? Each knight is given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then that is quite strange. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have afforded one of those. True. There is no contradiction here. Ooh. Yo, Von Carpen's good. She's always been good, just not good enough, you know? Just not good enough. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Carpen, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds into any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness? While I don't wish to call your testimony to doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. It's going to be a new testimony. The seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. After my bath. Hold on. I got like a wet rag that I'm using instead of like using paper towels or napkins or tissue to keep my nose going. Take care of my nose. I finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to Inner Temple. But the murder happened between 10 and 11, right? Yeah. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I had to look, and Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise. And with that sword, of all things. Mystic Elise. I don't remember ever calling her Mystic Elise. It's almost like she knows that Elise is Mystic Misty. Why did she call her Mystic Elise? No one's ever called her that, right? It's always been Elise Donum. Or Miss Donum. She called her Mystic, though. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing out must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Huh. She got pushed, huh? Which we do see in the autopsy report she has bruising on her body, so she definitely got pushed. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, it would be much like Miss Von Carvel whipping Mr. Edgeworth in the court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. This is the same thing that Gumshoe pretty much said earlier. Hold on. Or, well, something like that. This judge. His mention is just about as vivid as and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool, or I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name, can't you do something about that habit of yours? She loves doing that. But she got such a cool accent, you know? Maybe she just wants to flaunt it, I don't know. After my bath, ew. I finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to the temple.
Hold it!
How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes are on these stumps of mine. About 15 minutes to the Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and... You say you heard a noise. Thump. Just like that. That could have only been the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump. Just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground? Ooh, like of a big chunk of snow. You know what? I'm gonna give the judge a pass on that. Usually we make fun of him for saying dumb things. I don't think that's that dumb. Like a big clump of snow falling might sound like a body. You know? I never thought of that. The next one to laugh gets a weapon. Damn. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and Iris was, oh, mystic at least, and with that sword of all things. Can you be more specific? She keeps saying what she did, what Iris did, but not saying it exactly. Like, I get being traumatized, but it's to a point where, like, she's almost afraid, at least maybe I'm reaching, but it's like she's afraid to say exactly what happened because it would be indicative of her doing it herself if she got it exactly right, because she just happened to see it. You know? I don't know. Am I reaching? I might be reaching. I do happen to reach sometimes. This is the second time the witnesses testified to seeing the defendant. But some doubt remains in these claims. I skipped the dialogue by accident. What does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking man doesn't give you the right to. The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword says, can you try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can? Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me for all this time. Please don't keep us in suspense. Her hood. Her hood? That's right, it's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. That was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? She'd changed her testimony based on the information we provided her. That's the thing that sucks, because it's like, you gotta be careful how much you give the witness, because when they testify, they can just lie. You know? And you gotta keep entertaining it, even though it's like kind of obvious that they're lying. So my thing is she covering for someone? Or is she the murderer? You dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? I would say it is important. Can I say it? Bro, I'm gonna get this shit wrong. This may intentionally appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to our testimony. Okay. Miles Edgeworth. If you want to hang yourself, you need only to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Damn. Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problem. Now that you mentioned it, Iris didn't have a hood. Okay. Look at the change in demeanor here between these two statements. Like a liar to me. You are sure about that? Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style. Yes, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip. At least then, it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on. I'm sure of it. Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim. Mrs. Lease was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor. No. Hazakir Temple is a single-story building. That's right, because it's slanted, right? But they built it up, and then like it seems like the back end is higher than the front end, but there's only one story. But the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of this two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room, after all. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of the window. Must have occurred after. Loss of blood from stab in the back. Body fell 10 feet after death, says the autopsy report. So, this statement is wrong, but let's see what he says down me presenting. I'm pretty sure I have to present, but I want to get some more information if I need it. What makes you so sure of all this? Just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Why not read the rest of it, Von Karma? We all had the same testimony, or same autopsy report. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep. I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith. After all, the head honcho of the Hazakura Temple. There's only two of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? Don't stab and come back from work? Doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only two things I can believe in right now. Oh, yeah. You couldn't have seen her get stabbed because you saw her body outside of it. So, this whole time, I didn't even realize she could have never even seen her get stabbed because she heard a thump. She got stabbed first, and then she fell. Maybe Iris saw her body underneath the statue and was trying to pull her from under it. And it looked like she was stabbing her instead. Maybe. I hire Iris in my own abilities as a defense attorney. So I know it's this last statement. I wonder if I just push X when it's doing that, if it'll go faster. Impressive logic, that's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you like be so kind to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report. The victim did fall from a 10 feet height, or a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? She's probably going to say now that she beat her up instead. She wasn't just, she didn't fall, that the bruises just seemed like she fell from a crazy height, but she actually just pummeled her with her fist. Order, order. Hold on. My dog again for the 5th time. I feel like my dog should audition for like a live action Trolls movie. I feel like he'd do great. The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. If she was then thrown out of her window, down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Dodom's room? No one's been in her room yet. True, we didn't even investigate her room. Maybe that's where, Pearl is. No one's found her. I thought she was going to be in the Heavenly, place. But Larry would have known she was there. She was stabbed with a sword. That could leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? True. Well, Mr. Carmen, where was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Grandpa's caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this. As I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost in the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from the body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed. With the weapon still in place. Maybe by some sort of miraculous accident, Elise got pushed from the second story. She falls down and somehow lands perfectly underneath the blade, because the blade is still with the statue. So how did she get stabbed with it? Also, as we know, it bends when it hits people. It doesn't actually cut anybody. At least from what I remember. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to the conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. I don't know about that one, but we'll see. Order. I must admit that this is probably a probable version of events. Okay. So they're not saying this is like the guaranteed truth, but it's probable. Okay. Expect no less from physics than from karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Another testimony. Will she lie again, guys? Let's see. Remove all suspicion of your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain sitting on the crate. Her back is hurting? Don't go selling me short now. The weight of the winter snow has bit me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I'll give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? Oh boy. Alright. Okay, 1 second again. I don't know what is going on with this dude. He's just like, every time I try to stream, he just wants my attention. But when I want to play with him, he growls at me. How does that work? Alright. Holy shit. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't exactly see her stab Mr. Khalees. So that's what I was thinking too. I didn't think she actually saw it. I thought she might have just seen her with the knife in her back. If Bikini didn't do it, she just saw that the sword was in her back. Have we ever seen Bikini's hands before? I wonder if she wears gloves. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? When I awoke, Mystic Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Macabra's theory. Macabra strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Francisco Macabra. And I'm here to teach you that. At that time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to see, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course. So not entirely sure, but I don't think I saw any blood not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see which. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mr. Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dragged into the courtyard. I think that proves it rather low. Not this word. Now, here's my thing. Okay. She got stabbed, she fell down. That would mean if Iris did it, she had to like fucking stab her and jump with her and land on the ground with her. Or she stabbed her, ran down, and then went to the courtyard. That doesn't make sense. Like, how could she have heard the thud and then Elise gets down there, if she's the one who didn't get down there before Bikini sees like everything? Like, she doesn't be. I just think that doesn't make sense again. A lot of things don't make sense about testimony. That's why it seems like she did it, but last few cases, whenever I think it's one person, it's not. So, except, you know, the obvious ones. I've never seen so much blood before. Oh, wait. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room. I don't know if he just hates the sound of my voice or something, but like, just as soon as I start talking, he just like starts freaking out. You want your blanket, buddy? Or no? You gonna lick your paws? Alright. I mean, you're allowed to do that. I'm not gonna stop you. I think he's allowed to, at least. Her flecked clothing had neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were left flecked as well. I see it's quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Yeah, why wouldn't I press further? Let me save in case I lose some. Well, they didn't threaten to take points away, but they still could. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. Yeah. But now you say you saw the victim was bleeding. Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. I said that what I saw is what I saw. Okay. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed. But I saw the girl pull the sword out of her. Plain as day. Pulling the sword out. Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. With this, you add this statement to your testimony. Bro, she just keeps on adding bullshit. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Smoothly? You say you're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out. There's no fucking way. Look at this thing. Hell no, that didn't smoothly come out. It's fucking curved on the other sides of it. That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Amy. Elise was up on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. Dude, this might not save and crash because of the thunderstorm outside. But Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Elise's body. It slid out from the gaping wound. It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding. And they got a place there. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about the testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened. appears to have happened. I've never seen so much blood before. Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword? No mistaking, I remember it clear as day. Don't you think that's a bit odd? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Why would the killer pull out the sword? True. What? If all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the golden statue, there was simply a reason for removing it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Karma? That's indeed strange. Indeed, it is strange. Now that you mention it. I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery, too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness? Then, that's what I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? It's important to note that she fainted, I'm pretty sure. Now, what the killer did next? You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know. 10, maybe 20 minutes. A young man with a very prickly looking head woke me up. Phoenix? I guess? By stepping on me, actually. Oh, yeah, he stepped on her stomach when he was running. Okay, it's coming back to me. I'm sure... By the way, I know it's... okay, this dude is such a troll, bro. Why does he do this to me? I really don't get it. And now it's an autoplay, because he fucking startled me with that scream. Alright, I'm gonna try to find where I was in the dialogue. I'm not sure I like that method of citation? What? I don't even know what that means. Well, I wasn't asking for mouth to mouth or anything of the sort. Okay. And now here we are. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then. Let me tell you. Okay. I guess he said rescusation? I didn't know rescusation was a word. The hell? He's just laying down in the blanket now. I don't really know what his problem is. I don't get it. He was under it too, and I turned my back and everything was cool. And as I was reading, I guess he took it off and then just barked as loud as he could, or not even barked, just yelped. I don't know why he does that. I really don't. I should have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awakening? Then I woke. Mr. Amy was stabbed Mystic Elise through the back. By Mr. Amy, you are referring to the golden statue, correct? This stabbing someone with the Cecito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But then making Mystic Amy hold the blade. Truly a heinous, despicable crime. What if, like, Bikini tried to tell, what if Bikini's the one who stabbed Elise, and then Iris was like, what the hell happened? And then Iris was, I know her testimony says she wasn't there, but maybe if she was there, Bikini was like, hey, remove this. And then she, like, accused her based on what she saw, her removing it, to make it seem more, I don't know. This is the last case of the whole thing, so I'm going to assume that it's going to be something insane. It's easy to despise something, anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Ladies and gentlemen, surely it's doable, doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? True. This is such a weird thing, bro. Like, just think about it. She got stabbed and then she fell. That's how it's described, right? She got stabbed and she fell. Okay. So they kept the blade in her and then, like, drug her over here, or, like, how did she even get right there? That's my question, because there's no trail of blood. That's the part that doesn't make sense. But I guess, you know, if we keep the blood in, like they were saying, I guess when it was trying to get removed, maybe she got stabbed. She lands where she lands. Then they took the blade out and repositioned it to where it looked like the statue was holding the blade. But it looks like Mystic Amy is the one killing Elise, who I assume still is Misty, the mom of Maya. Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true, so true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself, there isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Cecito from the Amy statue as a weapon? True! It's almost symbolic. It seems like a crime of passion, right? It's up close and personal. It's like they wanted to say, you're not the head, Mystic Amy is, or whatever. And Bikini says she's a member of a branch. Maybe she's like the daughter of Mystic Amy, and maybe she was the one who was supposed to inherit the secret channeling, whatever the hell, the master. But then it went to Misty instead, and she killed her out of jealousy. Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in the testimony, perhaps then I can begin to find the truth. Alright, so I know it has something to do with the Cecito. I just don't remember what blade or what question it was. Smoothly drawn out. There you go. That was the one. Pretty sure that was it. Because it doesn't make sense for it to be smoothly pulled out. Because of the shape of the blade. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killers drew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain yourself. To start with, do you think it's possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? Oh, I see. To the hilt, it would be the handle. I think that's what they're referring to. Plus, the blood stops there, so it couldn't have been to the hilt. But, it could be hyperbolic. You could ignore that. But they said to testify accurately. They specifically requested her to do that. No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble? I too may appear weak and frail, but I will crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I choose to. The objection stands. I whipped in a little back here, I must admit. This really isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed into the body, to the hilt, well, just look at the branches on it. It clearly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in the body, it acts as a plunge of sorts. However, when the weapon is stabbed like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. True. That's nothing more than conjecture. I don't know about that. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the shizito. You know what I think? I think this isn't the murder weapon. But I think they used it again, whoever did it, after she was already stabbed, and then put it inside the statue to make it seem like that's what killed her. So no one looks at the actual murder weapon, which has the fingerprints of whoever did it all over it. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. We're not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. This sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt. Why is there only blood on the tip of it? Yeah, that's what I was saying. If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No. Buffalo Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. That is, the weapon used to kill the victim was not Cito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, because Mr. Amy was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong that is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shishito was the murder weapon. Order, order, order. So maybe the Shishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. Sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? Exactly. It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. Answer the question, Ms. Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Yeah, the power's for sure going to go out. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, can I say something? I just remembered something, actually. Uh-oh. What is it, sister? I was just thinking. It's possible. That just maybe what actually happened was it was just all over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean, maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. Oh, you know what? There's a incinerator. We didn't see it as Edgeworth, but there's an incinerator, I'm pretty sure, before you get to the main gate. Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else? What else could this woman have seen? Another thing that's important to note, she's really short. So, like, if we see the layout of the building and she can't see over the thing to see to the outside, then she's, like, cooked. Location of the weapon. Get some water. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. After asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. There I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk the Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Okay, so we're just making up all kind of shit, bro. What is she even saying? I'm trying to think if she could, like, if she's lying. She can't be lying, right? She's lied so much that I feel like this would be the end of the case if she just kept lying. Like, it would have to be her then. But it says trial part 1. So I think that we're about to get some new evidence. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There are indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. She keeps saying she's old. How old is she? 48. Oh, okay. You got that. Well, not how old she is, but she's dead. Here's a photograph. Snowmobile AIC. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and all the way to the Dusky Bridge. Now, how do we know you didn't do this, Bikini? You said you went over there, so why wouldn't you go over there and use that to get away with the murder weapon? Silly goose. Taken that night from main gate to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of a murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, go cross-examination, please. Surely they must have called on Edgeworth and frickin' Francisca. This is a bunch of baloney. Come on, bro. Saw the murder around 11 p.m. You sure about that? You sure about the time? Let me save first. I forgot to save. Yes, I was worried about it all, after all. Why was that? Because I had a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night, could I? So at 11 I decided to leave Hatsukura Temple. The estimation of time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister. After asking it to be reported, I went out to the main gate. You asked me this right to report the crime, correct? Right. The one who trampled on me. It seems he is the type to hold a grudge. True, because she keeps saying that. That's also indicative of her character. She might be holding a grudge about something that happened, and she killed Elise. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Finished, right? He didn't even have his cell phone with him. He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. I believe that. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back. I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it, that's the only one that we have. They run no matter how much snow falls. Now you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. She had already discarded the murder weapon and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? Why not press? Any answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at the time? Ooh, true. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile would heat its engine. I had the hiccups now, goddamn. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. I see. I never thought of that. That's right, I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't have to go around touching the hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Huh, so it definitely got used. But we didn't notice that when we were doing our thing. Hold on, let me open my door for my dog. He's gonna spring up any second. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. Wasn't any snow and it curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use a snowmobile then. How long did it take for Dusky Bridge to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? I think she said that, didn't she? She did. Okay. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. No contradiction there, I don't think. In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. True. Because she did use it, but, you know, she can't say that. Also, I don't know if we can see her footsteps. I mean, we don't know what her feet look like, obviously, but... We got the tracks photo, right? If we could, like, measure out the footprints, figure out whose shoe size, you know what I mean? Like, there's something that we did in LA Noire, so I feel like we can do the same thing here. There's a reason for that. Have you got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I fed some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. Why does it sound like a nursery rhyme? The tree and my back both went crunch just like that crunch. Ew. I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything like that since then. So that's why, I guess that goes back to the origins of her back hurting. But she's been saying this whole time that's because she's old. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon in the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Baby, refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. So it would take 5 minutes to get there and back. And if they, well, yeah, approximately like 10 minutes. If she was out for 20 minutes, she has the alibi, but she said 10 and 20. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile, yep. As you can see that this is more than enough time. Is all you wish to concede that's worth? Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. How do you know that? While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh? And what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why would the killer do any of this? All of this? Why go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there were other methods? True. Too many unanswered questions. Your response is for karma? Turns me for help over the slightest thing. Well, I mean, to me, it kind of makes logical sense. I don't know if they would like think to do it, but it'd be logical to go to the bridge and throw a murder weapon in there if you know it's going to get washed away. I mean, that does make sense if you got to play it down ahead of time. But the bridge is on fire by that point, so why would they even go near the fire? You know, that's kind of weird. Why do you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's over the top as always. Anyway. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. My murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Bosworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with its testimony. So all I have to do is start poking holes in the flawed account. So we gotta present something. The new thing that we have is the tracks photo taken that night from the Gate to Dusky Bridge. You could argue that the tracks indicate that the snowmobile is coming back instead of going forward. Does that make sense? Because it's facing away from the tracks, which means it came from that direction. Now, is anything in here gonna... Okay. That doesn't make sense, because how... There's no tracks coming back, there's only tracks going away from the scene. So, I'm gonna go with that and see what happens, I guess. Okay. We're doing pretty good so far with these guesses. Educated guesses, mind you. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the Stouffville was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? True. What do you mean? Dude, this case makes so much sense, like, logically. Like, everything I'm saying so far logically follows with what the case is doing. Because usually I'll have, like, a logical conclusion and, like, it won't match what's actually happening. Especially in that last case we did. Last two cases, I mean. What do you mean? Irish left Hasekura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this is the case, then naturally there should be two set of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. Now you're right. Unless it was already there at the river to ride back here very quickly. But Phoenix and Larry didn't notice her, so I don't know. You're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge are erased by the snowfall. It removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see, while she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What are you saying now, Edgeworth? Well, we have the weather report, don't we? I thought we did. Oh, here we go. So with occasional lightning strikes. And it never says it stopped snowing, so. There is a flaw in her theory. It's near that snowfall covered in one set of tracks. There is a contradiction. The tracks in the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss McCartman, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointing in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and from Dusky Bridge, or disposal of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Markarma. Mr. Edward, please present your evidence to the contrary. A chance to save. Say less. Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. I already forgot where it was. Witness, tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report from Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report. Snowfall started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It's possible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered. I don't remember reading that it stopped. Oh, 7 to approximately 10:50. I didn't read that wrong. I'm tripping. I still got it right though. Order. Very well then. It looks like Mr. Karma's claim has been snowed in. It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Just would hypothetically rely on the weather for of all things. Answer me this then. When is the weather report ever correct? Oh no, you got it all wrong. This is the forecast. This is actual data. Forecast data. What all weather reports are all have some inaccuracies. It must have been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. That's true. We cannot be totally sure. Okay, what? How'd she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I come as far as to turn it back now. Well then, I too cannot allow doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a professional, smiled Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh shit, I can't say. Where is your evidence that it was already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Probably the crime scene photo, because if it was still snowing, their body would have been covered in snow. And it's not. So, yeah. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right. But proving that is incredibly easy. If you want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, which is one exception, and that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donham. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be two sets of tracks. Order. Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. Okay, so now we're gonna get more details. The night someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple, when the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At the time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by snow. Then when the person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which only means that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. She probably pressed on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it in the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to the Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate, the snowmobile area. When I saw, it was covered in snow too. But that's impossible. Order. What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the temple. If it had been, the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be two sets of tracks in this photo. True again. All I know is this. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return Hazakura Temple. Never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. Maybe that's Pearl's 9. She probably can't use it, but maybe. Or it was Larry. I think we've learned all we can do from this witness. Yes. I have nothing more to add. I told you everything I know. But then that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering like in that, Larry. Let's say I have something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may have gone wandering around the subarctic night. Your Honor, actually there just might be one individual who may be able to help us. Really? You know someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? Dude, my nose is like clogged as fuck right now. Hard to talk. Hold on. I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind, which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. The second being, this individual that I'm thinking of wandering outside of the cold of night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Who is this idiot you're talking about? Gotta be Larry. This guy seems to be a product of Jean-Luc Deluxe's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a despicable or disciple of the victim, at least don't know. For a student, interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? I could tell them about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. His desires, not designs, desires. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snow, scenery, that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable looking man, what exactly was it that he said, or that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon your youth as the witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. He's going to use the Magatama in the courtroom. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Mr. Montgomery, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is in now in recess. Holy moly. Yeah, probably not going to talk while I'm sick, huh? Now I'd be sick and lose my voice. Yay. keep doing the wrong input.